hug, hug, hug.
Repay, repay, repay. Earl, Earl, Earl.
W, W, W.
Direction, direction, direction.
The first of the party who went were Miss Jessie and Flora with their teacher. They came to say goodbye. They hugged poor Merrylegs like an old friend, and so indeed he was. Then we heard what had been arranged for us. Master had sold Ginger and me to his old friend, the Earl of W., for he thought we should have a good place there. He had given Merrylegs to the priest, who needed a small horse for Mrs. Blomefield, but it was on the condition that Merrylegs should never be sold. Joe was going to take care of Merrylegs and to help in the house, so I thought that Merrylegs was well off. John had the offer of several good places, but he said he would wait a little and look round. The evening before they left, the master came into the stable to give some directions and to give his horses the last pat. He seemed very sad. I knew that by his voice. I believe we horses can tell more by the voice than many men can. Master then thanked John for his long and loyal service. But that was too much for John. "Don't, sir, I can't bear it. You have done so much for me that I could never repay it. We shall never forget you, and please God, we may some day see Mrs. Gordon back again like herself. We must keep up hope, sir." The master gave John his hand, but he did not speak, and they both left the stable. The last sad day had come. Ginger and I brought the carriage up to the hall door for the last time. When all were arranged, the master came down the steps carrying his wife in his arms. He placed her carefully in the carriage, while the house servants stood round crying. "Goodbye again," he said. "We shall not forget any of you." And he got in. "Drive on, John." We trotted slowly through the master's property, and then through the village. The village people were standing at their doors to have a last look and to say, "Good luck." When we reached the railway station, the master's wife walked from the carriage to the waiting room. I heard her say in her own sweet voice, "Goodbye, John. Good luck." I felt the rain move, but John made no answer. Perhaps he could not speak. As soon as Joe had taken the bags out of the carriage, John called him to stand by the horses, while he went onto the platform. Poor Joe! He stood close up to our heads to hide his tears. Very soon the train came into the station and stopped for 2 or 3 minutes. Then the doors were closed. The guard whistled, and the train went away, leaving behind it only clouds of white smoke and some very heavy hearts. When it was quite out of sight, John came back. "We shall never see her again," he said. "Never." He took the reins, put on the box, and drove slowly home with Joe. But it was not our home now. The next morning, John put the saddle on Ginger and the leading rein on me. Then he rode us across the country to Earlshall Park, where the Earl of W lived. There was a very fine house and many stables with lots of light and space for many horses. We were placed in boxes next to each other, cleaned and fed. Then John and Mr. York, who was to be our new carriage driver, came in to see us. "Now, Mr. John," he said, after carefully looking at us both, "I would like to know if there is anything particular in either of these that you would like to mention." "The black one is the most patient I ever knew. I suppose he has never known a hard word or a blow. The red-brown horse must have had bad treatment, but when she found what sort of place ours was, she slowly started to improve. So, if she is well treated, there is not a better, more willing animal than she is. If she is badly used or unfairly treated, she will be likely to act in a bad way. You know, it's not easy to have very good and responsible grooms in stables like these. I do my best. I'll remember what you have said about the female horse," said York. "I had better mention that we have never used the bearing rein with either of them. The black horse never had one on, and the seller said it was the bridle that made the female horse lose patience. If they come here, they must wear the bearing rein. I prefer a loose bearing rein myself, and the Earl is always very reasonable about horses. But my lady, it must be tight up when she rides." John came round to each of us to pat and speak to us for the last time. His voice sounded very sad. I held my face close to him. That was all I could do to say goodbye. Then he was gone, and I never saw him since.
如果你喜欢我的视频，请帮我点赞、订阅加转发，您的支持就是我最大的动力。If you like this video, please share this video to help others. Thank you for your support.